The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. That is right. I am Jim Beaver coming at you from the Polaris Razor studio. We got a fun one, definitely a UTV-filled episode today. I know we've been hitting the off-road stuff hard and heavy to start out the year, but you know what? That's all that's going on. Supercross and off-road, that is all we've got right now. Nobody else has decided they want to get into the action. I guess we do have Chili Bowl coming up very soon. Maybe next week we will catch up with one of the Chili Bowl competitors. You know, that little sprint car race that gets, like 350 to 400 sprint cars show up for it? Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. We never talk sprint cars on this show, but we'll probably talk some Chili Bowl because it is a big one, man. It is like one of the crown jewels of motorsport, and it's getting ready to go down. Also got Race of Champions coming up. We haven't even talked about that. One of my favorite events of the year. United States versus I don't know, just about every other country that has professional race car drivers. So I don't know if we'll get into that this episode, but at some point soon, definitely will. Got X Games coming up. X Games, the one that everybody's forgot about. I feel like X Games has completely and totally dropped the ball on Winter X Games because I follow all their social channels. I watch ESPN quite a bit. Literally, crickets, ESPN. Where have you been with the X Games promotion? We got Winter X Games like a week and a half away. I have seen nothing, absolutely nothing. My friends at ESPN, please get on it. I want to talk some X Games, and I completely, totally forgot about it. That is right. So, maybe next week we'll dedicate some time to X Games. Maybe I'll send a text to my buddy Levi LaValle, see if we can rope him into coming on the show next week. Always fun to catch up with Levi. But, we got a lot coming on. Obviously, I had the Parker 250 this past weekend. We got King of the Hammers coming up as well. And my friend Mitch Guthrie Jr., he's got a series with Polaris Razor called Bloodlines that is dropping as we speak. We're going to get into that and a whole lot more. Seth Quintero on the line, as well as Mitch Guthrie, Matt Martelli, Tiffany Stone. We are locked and loaded here for 2 hours on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You don't want to go anywhere. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Anywhere is possible. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire's wide variety of tires for whatever it is that you drive. Whether you're looking for off-road capability balanced with impressive on-road performance or ultra-high performance offering all-season traction designed with a driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has what you need to get where you're going. General Tire, providing anywhere is possible with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right, welcome back here to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Just getting things a little bit started, and I gotta confess, I am a little bit sore today. A lot of you might think, oh, well, you just raced the 250-mile desert race this weekend, Jimmy. It's all right to be sore. Well, my confession is that it's not necessarily from the race. Stupid me, first time in my life, and I'm going to confess here to everybody listening. Hopefully it's not very many people today. I got the crap beat out of me. I literally, for the first time in my life, stepped in the shower. Foot came out from under me, fell backwards, cracked my spine on the edge of the shower, elbow hit right on the edge of the tub, foot went up, cut my foot on the faucet, and knocked the wind out of me. And I literally laid there with the water running on me for a good 10 minutes. I had to catch my breath. I guess the only thing I didn't get was a concussion, but literally I got my ass kicked by the shower. Never happened in my life. Like to think I can hold my own in a fight. I'm telling you right now, don't get in a fight with a shower. You're gonna lose. Guaranteed gonna lose. Going to get your ass kicked. Happened to me. I'm a little bit sore. Wasn't from the race. It was because shower beat me up. So just making that confession. So if for some odd reason I lose my breath today or something, I don't know. I'm blaming it on the shower. Just throwing it out there into the universe. Telling you, don't get in a fight. That porcelain tub will whoop your ass every day of the week. Guaranteed. But speaking of the race this past weekend, as I sit here, and I'm so going off the grid on this show already. Literally, as we sit here, I'm snacking during the break on candy cigarettes. Yes, candy cigarettes. Somebody handed me this past weekend. I haven't had these things since I was a kid, right? It's like a red and white box as we sit here in the studio. Supposed to talk motorsports, talking candy cigarettes. Looks like a Marlboro pack of cigarettes, but it says Stallion on there instead of Marlboro. And I pulled these candy cigarettes out. They're all white. I gotta confess, they look like joints. They don't actually look like a cigarette. But they taste pretty damn good. So, yes, I haven't seen candy cigarettes since I was a kid, but for some odd reason, I am snacking on these in the studio right now. Nutrition facts, 48 calories for one. I guess, is that one cigarette, one joint? Whatever these things are supposed to be, they say Stallion candy. So, yeah, no fat, no nothing, 5% carbs, 14 grams of sugar in one. Anyways, 48 calories. I guess I could do worse. Anyways, candy cigarettes tasting pretty good today. So I got my ass kicked by the tub. I'm eating candy cigarettes that look like joints, and we are doing radio. We are having one fine Tuesday morning. If you're listening to national syndication, I guess it is a Saturday morning. But yes, we are going to get on to things that are more important than whatever the hell I have burnt the first segment talking about. But yes, we do. I did race this weekend. And I got to tell you, it was actually a pretty good race. I had my Polaris RZR cranked up, first race of the season, Parker 250, and I don't know, we started 35th, I think, and there was 72 entries. To me, that's crazy. Pro Turbo, the elite division of UTV racing. I would say anywhere. I mean, obviously there's some, short course, there's turbo and stuff like that. I would say Pro Turbo I don't know. That's where like Polaris and the manufacturers Can-Am, like they've got, most of their investment and things like that. So I would say it's probably the premier division of UTV racing in this country. We had 72 entries. To me, that's mind-boggling. We've got to that point where we have that many entries racing. We started off, and I believe at the end of lap 1 had no problems. I kind of ran a pretty solid pace. I think we moved up from like 35th to the top 20. I think we're right around 20th place at the end of lap 1, which is 80-ish. I like that word ish, right? You don't have to be exact. You say 80-ish, and then it makes it acceptable. 80-ish. Miles, I handed off to my brother. He lost a belt on the second lap, lost about, it was one that was mangled, man. That thing like had shredded all over into the clutches. So I think they lost about 10 minutes, like cutting out the old belt that got tangled in everything. And then I jumped in on the last lap and kind of driving Miss Daisy, to the finish at that point. And we ended up losing a motor with like a couple of miles to go, and I had to limp it to the finish. Actually, it wasn't too bad, but like the exhaust had been falling off earlier, and we knew it was loose, and we had an exhaust leak. And that wasn't what actually happened with the engine. But this engine, like literally, you want to talk about the durability of these things, these Polaris Razors? Literally, this thing had like 2 seasons of Star Car on it, and with the rules, you can't touch the engines internally, right? They're sealed. We can change the oil and filter on them. Literally, this engine had spark plug changes, oil and filter changes, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, we tuned it every race and things like that, but you can't touch anything inside. So, like, valves weren't checked, nothing. I had 2 seasons on it, got us to the finish line. I want to talk about an amazingly durable. You can get 2 seasons out of a race engine. Like, to me, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, in our trophy truck, we're swapping that damn thing out every race or two, and here we are in a UTV, and we can get 2 seasons out of a race engine. Like, it's crazy with just oil changes. Tells you about the Polaris product, man. Rock solid there. So that happened. We finished. I think we ended up 20. I'm going to have to look. Actually, I've got the results up we're going to get to later on in the show. So maybe I ought to just find out exactly what I finished. I've been telling people stories, 20th, 23rd, 25th. Like, I don't know. I just know I'm in there somewhere, but it changes like the fish story. You never know what the hell what answer I'm going to give you. 26th officially. Okay. 26th officially. Yes, finished 26th officially. We were looking at the time back. Maybe it would have been cracked the top 20, maybe close to 15 if we wouldn't have had the problems we had. So, I don't know. Solid day. Good finish to start the year. Can't complain about that. Big shout out to all the winners. We'll have a few of them on the show here in a little bit. Yes, we're talking a lot of UTVs today. And I got to tell you guys about a little video called Bloodlines, and Polaris, it's actually out as we speak. I guess dropped 13 minutes ago. My phone is kind of blowing up because I'm on this group text with all the Polaris Razor athletes, and we're talking about it. And anyways, I'm going to get some stuff up on social media. It's already out there on Polaris' social channels. So the Guthries, Mitch Jr., Mitch Sr., you know them as the kings of King of the Hammers as far as UTVs go. Polaris did it's a 4-part series now through Hammers. They're going to drop, I believe, every single week one episode. Episode 1 out right now, dropped 15 minutes ago, on them. And, I guess the family rivalry and kind of just owning King of the Hammers in the UTV space. So that is out. Definitely, I haven't had a chance to watch it. I've seen the teaser and things like that, but we're going to have Mitch Jr. on later in the show. We're going to be talking about that, and I don't know, should be interesting to see this, and what happens behind closed doors with the Guthries and things like that, because here's like 2 of the top, Ultra 4 UTV racers, they know Hammers, they know it like the back of their hand, but yet, they're under the same roof. And like, to me, that's kind of funny, like it's father and son, but at some point, his father really should, tell son everything because, he still wants to win. So, interesting, story, and I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of King of the Hammers, before we go to break, I got to tell you, they've got this thing called the King of the Hammers VIP program this year. You need to go to ultra4license.com. They've got tickets. Basically, it's for 8 full days of VIP access. You get exclusive spectating access. You're going to get a 1 in 100 chance of getting to watch the races in a helicopter. You got catered food. There is a private tent with Wi-Fi, and I got to tell you, there is no Wi-Fi whatsoever out on that dry lake bed, but they're bringing Wi-Fi to you. That's a massive deal. You got a tailgate party swag pack, Warren VIP bar, private bar. Count me in on that. But 8 full days, you're going to get a big swag pack full of all kinds of gear, things like that. Ultra4license.com. You can get your KOH VIP tickets. They're limited to 300 tickets. That is right. This is like a premium deal, and it's they're going to sell out. So make sure and go to ultra4license.com. Get your VIP tickets for KOH. It's good for the entire week, not just one day, the entire week. So head over there to ultra4license.com. Get your KOH VIP tickets before they sell out. And we're going to take a short break. We come back. It is going to be my Polaris RZR teammate and Parker 250 1000 class winner Seth Quintero on the line with me right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my Polaris RZR teammate, Mr. Seth Quintero, to the line, who was a little bit more successful this weekend than I was. Welcome to the show, Seth.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, dude, I got to say, man, you guys, I know I actually talked with your dad and your mom quite a bit at Contingency. We probably talked for 15, 20 minutes, and they're like, man, we're getting so close. Seth's right there. Like, one of these races, he's going to notch that win. And, dude, it came to kick off the season. Man, that's got to feel pretty good to get that monkey off your back finally.
Yeah, it couldn't have come at any of a better time, first race of the season, get the first win. But, yeah, last year we pushed super hard to get the win, and I think we ended up getting 3 podiums out of the 6 races that we did last year, and kept getting seconds, kept getting thirds, always stayed in the top 10, but yeah, never could pull the trigger, but it definitely felt good to finally get that first win.
Yeah. Well, in talking with like Kristen Matlock, because she's still running an NA car, and and she's factory Polaris racing also, and she says, sometimes she goes, I feel like us that run the NA cars, we may have a little bit of an advantage. I mean, I was looking at your times, and you guys were sneaking in there with with the turbos and things like that. I mean, do you feel like sometimes the NA car, like it's even a little bit of an advantage? I know us guys with the turbos, man, we're always like watching belt temps and this and that, and there's so much horsepower there on demand. Like sometimes it can cause even more problems. Do you feel like you guys maybe have a little bit less to worry about, and you guys just flog it sometimes? Yeah,
the NA cars definitely do. They're a lot more horsepower. It's a disadvantage in that perspective, but yeah, like you said, we don't really have to pay attention to belt temps more than the turbos do, and no turbo lag, which is a huge thing. And yeah, overall, I just feel like the NA car, it's super reliable. Motors always stays cool, and there's a lot less to worry about than the turbo cars.
Yeah. Well, let's talk really quick about your career, because, I mean, you started out, I don't know, what did you start out racing? Because I know you did some time in some 570s and stuff like that. Now you're in the 1000s, but, what was the first thing you raced, that kind of was your gateway into this crazy industry?
The first thing I raced was I was doing the local series, dirt series, in my 170 back in 2012, I believe. I always grew up riding dirt bikes, and my dad raced dirt bikes, but he unfortunately got in a bad crash, and Mama cut me off the bike, but she went to NCY, saw the 170, and they thought that was my career, so it all started from there.
Yeah, and see, that's the one thing I didn't know if you were in the 170s ever, if you just kind of went into the bigger car. Then you went into the 570s. How was that transition from the 570s into the XP 1000? I mean, you're now 570s a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter, obviously a little bit less horsepower. I mean, you're in a full-size car now. How was that step up for you? Because like watching you, dude, you went into the 1000s and it was like you never missed a beat, man. It was like boom, Seth's in these, and you were just hauling right out of the box.
Yeah, the transition to 570 to 1000 actually wasn't the easiest, but the 570, we felt like we pushed that thing to its limits, and we wanted to go 900, but we just thought that maybe 1000 would be the better bet, just so we could get in the top ranks and just start moving from there. But my first race in a 1000, actually, I had never driven the car. I had never done anything in a 1000 except for playing in the desert in my family's four-seater. It was the first round of works, and it was a Lucas track. I'd never driven a Lucas track either, and tried to come out swinging. I think we ended up 9th that race in my first ever 1000 race. But yeah, the transition from 570 to 1000 was a big leap, but we're definitely glad we did it.
Yeah. Well, and talking about that, how was the leap to desert racing? Because I know, like you said, you're talking Dirt Series, talking Works, talking Lucas. I mean, that's a little bit different type of racing to, now all of a sudden you're running things like Vegas to Reno, where it's like these long-distance endurance races and stuff like that. I mean, how was that transition? Because I know me, like even there's a little bit of a mindset where you're doing short course and even stuff like the UTV Worlds where you're 100%. And, I know, Parker 250 is a little different because you got to push pretty hard because it's a shorter race. But how's it transition you to these long distance desert races where now all of a sudden you're in the car for like 8 hours at a time?
Yeah, the transition from short course to desert was definitely a challenge. I mean, I went from doing 45-minute motos to pushing the car 100% of the time to doing 12-hour races in Vegas to Reno, It wasn't necessarily like my driving style that has definitely changed a little bit. I'm not wide open all the time. I'm not just like trying to push into corners. I'm a little bit more conservative. But the main thing that's like been a challenge for me is like the stamina. I'm young, of course, which helps, but like doing that 14-hour solo, like I didn't get out of the car that whole time at Vegas to Reno, and like you have to have the mindset to be into desert racing. You can't just be in it just to do it for the weekend. You gotta focus hard the whole time, and that's definitely a challenge.
Yeah, well, and talking about that, I mean, you've been pretty fortunate. Obviously, your Polaris factory racing, definitely, got a win coming out of the box. But you were also, I know, at one point, I don't know now what the how things sit, but I know at one point you were the youngest Red Bull athlete ever signed. I mean, how was that, and how that whole Red Bull thing happened? Because, dude, I mean, I think wasn't it like at Christmas your parents surprised you? I mean, take us through that, because being a Red Bull athlete, dude, that's something special. I mean, that's the elite of the elite. That's pretty amazing for you at your age to already be wearing that hat.
Yeah, I think what started it all was when I won the championship in the 170 2015. I had Joey D had invited me out to come display my 170 at the Mint 400, and I met Colby, which was my Red Bull manager at the time. Soon to be Red Bull manager, and we hit it off. We talked, and I just remember him handing me his card at the Mint. I just freaked out, ran to my mom, gave her the card, told her don't ever lose this thing, and I still have that card to this day. But yeah, we were up in like Arrowhead for Christmas one year. And for some reason, the months before, I was like, don't ruin Christmas, don't ruin Christmas. Like I knew she had something planned, but I didn't know what it was. But yeah, it was a lot. Like we were all done opening gifts, and I was like, wait, I got one more thing for you. I forgot about it. And they had put Colby had signed the card, and it said, "Merry Christmas from your friends at Red Bull. Welcome to the family." And it was sitting on top of it, like in the box. As soon as I opened it, I opened that card, looked at it, and there was a snowman on the front. And I turned it around just to look. For some reason, I turned it around and said Red Bull on the back, and I freaked out and opened it. And yeah, I believe I was 12 years old at the time, the youngest Red Bull athlete to be signed. And I think I still am the youngest Red Bull athlete.
Nice, dude. And that's got to be amazing to be in that Red Bull family, because I know like you've met Pastrana and like some amazing athletes. Obviously I know Ronnie Renner from that, but I mean, how is that for you being a part of the Red Bull family? I've been fortunate to be to their headquarters I think 2 or 3 times now, and I'm not a Red Bull athlete, but I walk in there and dude, you just know like special things happen at this place, right?
Yeah, I mean, being part of the Red Bull family is a blessing, And meeting all these guys, like you said, like Pastrana, Renner, all these guys that I've looked up to my whole life. It's crazy. Like I can go ahead and text Ryan Dungy when 5 years ago I was scared to go up and take a picture with him.
Yeah.
And just being a part of their family has been a blessing. And it's definitely the elite of the elite, and very, very fortunate to be a part of it.
Yeah. So going back to this year, obviously, man, you're the points leader in Best in the Desert right now with one race in. I know, obviously, we got the MIP 400 coming up, but, I mean, I know you got to have a little bit of strategy now because you're the guy with a target on your back going into the MIP. I mean, what's the plans for you guys this year? I mean, running the full Best in the Desert series, I'm assuming. Anything other than that? I mean, how are we approaching this year, Seth?
I'm approaching this year going in full swing. Last year, we unfortunately missed the first race. We couldn't get the car done in time just because we had a late start because we were still racing Works and District 38. So we decided to take last year's kind of learning curve, and we say that every year. But my last year's first race was from the 400, and I ended up second, which put another target on my back last year. But this year we came out with the first, and I'm super excited. And the approach on this year is just going to be trying to be consistent the whole year. I feel like consistency is key. And I feel like if we're just that top 5 guy every race, then hopefully we can pull the championship.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking at the long term, and I know a lot of people, you probably get this question at your age. Obviously, you're winning races in Best in the Desert. Obviously, there's the turbo division out there. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's trophy trucks, there's short course. I mean, and I know it's too early to ask you, hey, what's the future hold for Seth Quintero? But, I mean, if you could pick any series to be at like 22, 23 years old, elite level series, I mean, where would Seth Quintero want to be in his career?
22 years old, I would want to be in a trophy truck. Desert's where my heart is. I grew up riding dirt bikes in the desert, and honestly, I just want to be able to do anything and everything I can. In my career, it's not necessarily sticking to one thing, but I just want to try to do good at every single thing that I'm going to end up doing. So hopefully, I transition to trophy trucks, or it's rally cars, or it's pro lights, or pro twos, whatever it is. I'm just trying to have a good time.
Yeah, well, that's I think that's probably the best way to approach this thing, man. Just ride the wave as long as it's there, and just see what comes up next. I got to ask though. I know your age. You got to be a gamer, right?
Oh yeah, I definitely play the games on the weekends.
Okay, well, I got to ask you because I've been in it before. Have you been into when you visited Red Bull? Have you seen their esports program there, their esports center, like where they train their esports athletes? Yeah,
it's crazy. They have literally like 15 of the most top-notch computers in there, and it blows my mind every time I go in there.
Right.
And they just sponsored, the world's #1 Fortnite player, Ninja, is sponsored by Red Bull now. Like, that's just blows my mind that they're sponsoring people that play video games.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I was like, man, I've been into that esports center, and I was like, holy crap, like, this place is insane. Like, wow, you want to talk about some top-notch equipment? That's what I was going to ask you, man. See, I think that's what you need to work with Red Bull, right? Just be like, all right, so I can be a race car driver and I can be an esports athlete.
Yeah, just try to do it all.
Yeah, right? All right, man. Well, I appreciate the time, Seth. Congratulations on the win, buddy. Super pumped for you and the whole family. If you guys ever need anything, definitely reach out. And I guess we will – I don't know, you going to head out to King of the Hammers and check out the fun?
Yeah, I'm actually hoping to do King of Hammers one of these years. So going out there, check it out. It's going to be a good time.
All right, yeah, I think hopefully I was going to do it this year, and it just didn't work out. Maybe next year, but I'm definitely going to be out there. So I'm sure we'll be able to catch up with each other out there at Johnson Valley, buddy.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Jim.
All right, thanks a lot, Seth. Always fun catching up with Seth. It's been a while, but, man, you want to talk about a kid that is a future of off-road racing. Like I said, he's one of the youngest Red Bull athletes ever. I mean, I think him, Mia Chapman, and what's her name? Brighton Zoyner, the skateboarder. I think those three probably some of the youngest athletes on the Red Bull roster. So, yeah, man, always fun catching up with Seth. Love the Quintero family. Just good people, and always fun to have a chat. But anyway, we're going to take a short break. We come back. Mitch Guthrie Jr., he's going to be on the line. We're going to be talking Bloodlines, and I don't know, you get Mitchie on and you never know where the conversation's going to go. So we'll be back after this. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at MotoShieldPro.com.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my good friend Mitch Guthrie Jr. to the line, and I got to open this up, Mitchie. So I got Tiffany Stone full time on the show this year. She's doing like one segment, an episode, and then she's going to do all the remote shows this year. So we're going to do it at KOH and like at the Mint, UTV Worlds. But she knew you were going to be on the show today, and like she had to drop the whole My Package thing. So I'm like, I literally can't not have Mitchie on and know Tiffany Stone's going to be on the show without talking about your underwear or your package, right?
Oh my God.
you thought man, that was going to go away.
I don't know what her deal is, but she's always talking about that. I don't know if she told the story or not, but I guess I'll just get that over with really quick so everyone knows what's going on. I just rolled up to the show, I think it was at the Mint 400, and was hanging out with you guys, and someone had just given me some special new underwear that was called My Package underwear, and then we were talking about that for probably half the show. And man, I don't know. Things got out of hand, but here we are.
Here we are, like almost a year later, still talking about Mitchie's package. So there you go.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
race cars, huh?
Yeah, race cars. No, for real. We got a lot to talk about today. We got like a 14-minute segment to fill, but we're going to talk about this rad new video called Bloodlines that's dropping. I know the teaser's out. We got KOH coming out, but before we even get into that, obviously Parker 250 this weekend. I know you got a finish, and it was an all-new car. Dude, tell me about this new car. I mean, your previous car wasn't like it was slow, man. That thing was dialed in. I mean, this new car, it's kind of got me a little bit nervous, man. You're like really stepping it up, right?
Yeah, we stepped it up for sure. The old car was dialed in, but it just kind of was outdated for a lot of the race cars these days. I mean, these these top guys are building cars that are just insane. So we decided to kind of step it up a notch and built a car that with Lone Star Racing on a Turbo S 4-seater platform, which is kind of one of the first cars using that. And man, we just went all out. Everything on that is kind of the best of the best, and had that thing low CG, got the fuel cell low, everything as low as possible for cornering and all that. And man, the car is insane. We really didn't have much test time on it actually before Parker, and out of the box the thing was awesome. We started 38th, and we had one issue, but we were in 11th at mile 60, so the thing was just insane up the washes and all that cornering, and we made a lot of moves, and then had one little suspension failure that we had to limp the car to get it fixed, and kind of threw away any chances at a podium or anything, but we were at least able to get all 3 laps done and get a finish out of it. So unfortunately, we're not in the top 10 for the mint, so we'll be in the draw, but I'm happy with the finish. Keeps us in the points, and man, the mint will have that thing dialed.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy about this. Sorry about that, clearing my throat on air. That's a rookie move there, but no, for real though. I mean, I think there was like 72 entries in turbo, and if you're running for the points, man, it's to the point where like you can't even risk a DNF at any races. I mean, it's like you're always playing that card. Like you got to get these things to the finish, no matter what. I mean, that's just. I mean. And anything can happen with 72 entries. To me, it's just crazy how big this turbo division has got. Like, I looked at that entry list or the tracker, and I'm like, is there really that many cars in this class? It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's insane, and I know we talk about it every time, but the class is still growing. Like, it seems like there's no stopping it, and the cars are getting faster. The teams are getting, more and more prepared every race, and the class is just insane. I think it's one of the most high level classes out there for sure. And I laugh at the people that used to call them golf carts, because look at us now.
Yeah, well, and we talk about that, and obviously there've been guys like Reese Millen have come in, and I know Tanner Faust has raced with Reese a few times, but I'm looking at this, like talking with Rob McCackern, like Rob wants to build a car for this class. Like I was just looking at the 250. I mean, we had like Christian Serapis, we had Harley Letner. I mean, we got legit trophy truck guys, jumping in, and it's like, man, like this has become, like you said, one of the premier classes in off-road. Like I look at things and I'm like, you've got trophy truck, you got 6100, and like to me, you've got pro turbo UTV. Like those are kind of the 3 like it divisions right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like you said, I think that really shows something for how big this class is, and a lot of people really respect the drivers and the cars now. If you have a guy like Rob Mack or Serapis or Harley Letner all wanting to get in one of them, then these things are pretty damn legit. And it's pretty cool talking to a lot of those guys like Rob Mack once they get in a Razor for the first time, and Polaris Razor supports him, and he got one and did some pre-running in Baja, or I forget where it was, and after talking to him after he drove it, he's like, man, these things are insane. And the cool part about it is just how fun they are to drive, not only racing, but, just going out to Glamis or, wherever anyone goes to recreational ride. It's a blast in those things. And even when I'm not racing, that's what I want to do, is go out to Glamis or do any of that with my friends. So that's the other cool part about it.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Like on the weekends we're not racing, we're immediately like planning a trip somewhere in the Razors, and that's one thing I love about it. We call it Razor Life, and I know it's hashtag Razor Life, and it's kind of a corporate thing, but the people in the industry, like, and it's not just like me and you. Like I look down the roster of athletes and things like that and racers, and even the guys with like competitive makes and stuff, like they're the same thing as us. Like on the weekends, that's what we're doing. It's like, it's just, I don't know, man, it gets its hooks in you, and it's just like, it's all over, right?
Yeah, I guess I said it's recreational driving, but I'm not sure if it is, because anytime I'm out driving a Razor, I'm with my friends from racing, and like you said, like the Team Razor guys, and when we're out having fun in Glamis or anything, it's still a race. So I guess we're always racing pretty much.
Yeah. Well, a case in point is in that video from Camp Razor with like Ronnie and RJ, where they just totally wadded each other up or something. I mean, it's always entertaining, that's for sure. But
we're always banging doors.
Yeah, no joke, man. So speaking of banging doors, we got to talk about Bloodlines teaser out, video drops. You and your dad, obviously, slugfest at Hammers. I know he called you the prince for a while. You were the king last year. Between the two of you guys pretty much own King of the Hammers in the UTV division. I mean, you rode with your dad for a couple of years. Now you guys are competing against each other. I mean, tell us about the video and tell us about I guess the Guthrie household right now, because we're, ramping up to the biggest event of the year. And I know between you and your dad, I know you guys well. There's got to be some trash talking going on.
Yeah. So there is a little bit, but we're friendly. But yeah, the teaser dropped, and it's really cool to see on the comments and everything. Everyone's pretty hyped up. No one really has kind of an idea of what it is too. So can't give away any spoilers, but it's an awesome production. We had a really good time doing it, and I think everyone's going to love, the series. It's going to be something pretty much leading up all the way till King of the Hammers. But it's going to be really cool. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but it should be interesting for everyone to see. And today, man, I was working on my dad's car, so we're it's a rivalry a little bit there, but it's a family thing, as we always say. So we want each other to both win, but like I always say, I want to win more.
Yeah. Well, I guess in a perfect world, you guys finish 1 and 2, right?
Yeah. And hopefully me 1 and him 2, I guess.
Well, you guys are switching it up this year. I know I talked to your dad on the phone a couple of weeks ago, but you guys are switching it up. I mean, you guys have these cars that are race-winning cars sitting there, and now you guys are up in the game. You're bringing Turbo S's to KOH this year, right?
Yeah, we're racing brand new Turbo S's. So it's at first we didn't really know how it was going to be. The narrowness in the rocks in a lot of places is really good to have, just so you can fit through, different obstacles and take different lines. But a couple of weeks ago, we took the Turbo S's up there for the first time. We built a couple pre-runners, and man, those things are insane. I know everyone knows how well they do through the whoops and all that. They're on another level, so that's awesome. But then we took them into the rocks, and we didn't really know how they were going to perform, and they were hands down better than anything I've ever driven in the rocks. So it was really cool to see that, and just the articulation they have, the stability, all of that combined in the rocks is awesome. And it's crazy how fast these things are getting through the rocks, and how the obstacles that we can go up is just getting insane. And really excited to be running those cars this year.
Yeah, and and I know the thing about KOH is it's kind of a mystery. I know some years the UTV track, I don't want to even go out and say it's been easier, but some years it's a little bit easier, some years it's a little bit harder. You don't really know what the track's going to look like, but KOH, the one thing about Johnson Valley is it's wide open, so it's the one you can pre-run. I mean, Vegas to Reno, Mint 400, it's illegal for us to go out and pre-run, but how much homework, have you and your dad been doing there at, KOH? Because I know you guys have been sneaking up there and getting in the rocks as much as you can.
Maybe a little bit. No, just kidding. We're doing our homework this year. I mean, this is a big one, and a lot of different teams are coming in swinging this year. A lot of people are putting a lot of time into this, and like every year, it's getting bigger and bigger, and the UTV class is growing, and people are putting in the work. So, technically, we're not really pre-running. We're just kind of going out there in the rocks because we don't have the course yet, but we're just trying to hit every rock trail we can, and once that course comes out, hopefully we'll be good to go and not even really need too much pre-running. So, like we say every year, I mean, the preparation for this race is really what wins it. So we're going to be up there a lot, these next few weeks, just hitting those rock trails in the desert as much as we can. And then on top of that, get the race cars prepped and ready. We've been going crazy with the desert racing stuff. So, today marks the first day of really going at it with the King of the Hammers cars and getting those things ready, and then sneaking in all the pre-running on top of that. So it's going to be a wild few weeks here.
Yeah, well, and what's obviously we've got KOH on the Ultra Force side, but as far as the desert program, you guys pretty much I'm assuming concentrating on Best in the Desert. We're going to see you pop down to Baja at all this year, or are you guys pretty dedicated to Best in the Desert?
I'll be doing Best in the Desert the entire series this year in the new rig, and next one's Mint 400, and we'll be coming out swinging for that one in the new car. But other than that, for Baja, I love racing it with other teams, and getting experience down there so I can eventually, do my own program. But as you know, Baja is a beast of its own. So I've been trying to get as much experience as I can, and hopefully some teams want me to go drive for them this year. Maybe a trophy truck team if anyone's listening.
Yeah, there might be a guy with a single seater or something like that might. I don't know. I'm bringing it to Parker 425, so the thing is coming. I'm going to do a little mix of Razor and trophy truck stuff. And I told you, and I told it with Martelli. I said one of these days, we're going to give somebody like Mitchie a ride in a trophy truck or let them drive. And I said, I think they're going to blow mine. So I'm just putting it out there, man. Maybe we can figure something out. Evan at Polaris, I know you're listening, buddy. Let's make this deal happen.
There we go. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, right? We'll just put that out there into the universe, right?
Yeah, I will say, though, in probably a few years, those Razors are going to be passing the trophy trucks. So. Dude, you never know.
At this point, nobody would have ever thought that Razors would be like. What did Matlock do at the Baja 1000? Like, I would think he would have finished like second in Class 1 or third in Class 1. We would have never figured they'd be going that fast. And count me for one. I just honestly, I thought there was like a ceiling. You know what I mean? And they're going to be cool. They're going to be quick, but. Dude, I don't know. Sky's the limit right now. And I see what Polaris is doing every year with like the Turbo S, and they continue to up the game. Like, who knows what it's going to look like 2 or 3 years from now?
Yep, the sky's the limit for sure, and that's what we always say. And man, the 900 came out, and I'm like, wow, this is insane. And the 1000 came out, and the Turbo came out. Now the Turbo S is out, and it's like, when is it going to stop? And that's a good way to look at it. Is Wayne is an animal, but the cars are just getting absolutely insane, and then the drivers on top of that, like Wayne out there in Baja, he absolutely killed it this year. And I think I may be wrong, but I think he was like 28th or in the 30s with where he finished overall.
Yeah, that's
and
including
I want
bikes.
to say he beat all the 10 cars. So it's insane how quick these things are and the drivers behind them.
Well, I appreciate the time, Mitchie. Obviously, we got Bloodlines dropping this week. Definitely everybody go and check that on the Polaris social channels, as well as Mitchie's, my own. I'll be sharing them as well. And good luck at KOH, my friend. I know we're doing a show out there like the day after the UTV race at the Polaris booth, so maybe we'll have you giving your your champion speech on air or something like that.
Yes, sir. I hope that's going to be the case. We're going for it. So we'll see you there.
And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for. No fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island. The best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Just killed off an hour. I don't want to see killed off, but I had a couple of my Polaris Razor teammates, Mitch Guthrie Jr., a.k.a. Mitchie, and Seth Quintero. I don't know, both of them having a pretty good start to the year. Definitely go and check out Bloodlines. That is live on the net as we speak. Episode number 1. Go and check out the Polaris Razor feeds. I'll have it up on mine as well. We'll be doing a feature on the website also, and I know, man, breaking news as we're on air. We're going to touch on this to kick off hour number 2. IndyCar announcing a title sponsor, and it looks like Ricky Brabec. I haven't read into all the details on it, but it looks like he is out of the Dakar Rally. He was the leader, so heartbreaker for Ricky Brabec. We're going to definitely dive into that here in the next hour. I'm gathering info as we speak, but man, breaking news coming out of Dakar and IndyCar. all happening as we go on to air. So, man, lots of motorsports news happening globally, I guess. Yes, we are going to try our best to break some news to you. Also want to make mention, if you're not, definitely check out our website, downanddirtyshow.com. When we're not live on the show, we are also got all our back episodes there. Chris Leone with the show, he is pumping out content every single day on all kinds of motorsports. So if you're looking for written content and the latest, definitely check out the website and go and subscribe to our show over there on iTunes, please. All right, we are going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we got some Best in Desert Parker 250 results. We'll be talking Dakar, Supercross, Race of Champions, and a whole lot more here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
All right, and we're back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Yeah, during the break, I am scrambling to gather some info on Ricky Brabec. We're going to get to that here in a couple of minutes, but heartbreaker for the American who was leading Dakar. He is now officially out. We're getting a little bit of info. We'll have that in the next segment. Right now, we're going to talk Best in the Desert Parker 250 results. These results being brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, reminding you that anywhere is possible. I will make mention to run those General Tires on not only my UTV, all my Subaru, my street car, my truck, our chase trucks. I mean, the trophy truck and General Tires. They got me dialed in, locked and loaded, rock solid tires. So these are your results for the UTV Winter Nationals. Looking at the big results. I don't want to say big results because that kind of like undermines some of the other classes. We do have some class winners that we'll run through those. Mark Lepresti, Daniel Markley, Jason Bowe, Dave Land. These are ATV and dirt bike winners. Jacob Ogbright, Clayton Ricard, Warren Healy. Also got looks like Tovia Lowry, Aaron Simmons, Felipe Barro, Chad Thornton, and Chris Mass. Your winners in a lot of the bike and quad divisions. Looking at some of the UTV divisions, though. Obviously, Seth Quintero taking that win. Had Brett Ward and Bradley Howe 1, 2, and 3 on the podium in the NA classes has become known. UTV Unlimited, we had Michael Isom with a victory there. Josh Shelton and Mike Zwendel there in the third spot. We had in the UTV, I guess, the sportsman division, it was Mike Heller. Max Gordon with a DNF. Tough break for Max. Obviously, his dad's racing in Dakar. He was trying to bring it home. While his dad's in Dakar. It didn't quite work out. Dustin Jones taking UTV Turbo win. We had Brandon Schuler, Brandon Sims, a couple of my Polaris Razor teammates there, rounding out the podium. UTV Rally, it was James Moore taking the victory there as well. So, those are our results for the Parker 250. Those being brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, reminding you that anywhere is possible. And we are going to take another quick short break. Looks like about 3 minutes. We'll be back, and we are going to dissect IndyCar news, Dakar Rally, and a whole lot more here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3 from General Tire. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressive styling with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners and for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right, and we're back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You knew you were listening to this show. If you got any questions, I can take some questions here in the next segment if you guys are on the draw and you're not listening on demand. If not, you can plug them in, and we'll get them answered the next show if you are listening to the podcast version, not live. But at Jim Beaver 15 on Twitter, easiest way to ask questions, especially when we are live like we are right now. Well, maybe, depending on when you listen. I don't know. It's kind of when you simulcast a show like we do, it's difficult to tell when people are actually listening, right? This thing goes out literally all over the globe, like a million different directions, different networks, stuff like that. I never know when you guys are listening. I'm just glad you are. So yes, at JimBeaver15 is my social media handle on all across the board. Anyways, moving on to something absolutely more important. We're going to talk some Dakar Rally. We had IndyCar and Dakar news break here in the first hour of the show. Heartbreaker, first of all, the first one, Ricky Brabec. He was a Monster Energy Honda team, obviously an American. He was leading the motorcycle division there at the Dakar Rally. Heartbreaker for Brabec. Got to give a shout out to Chris Leone, feed me info during the break. But looks like his engine, I saw a post on Instagram. He just said Heartbreaker, out of Dakar. But it looks like he was about 56 kilometers into the 360-kilometer special, and he looks like just mechanical, man. Engine let go or something like that, and Brabec is out. So definitely a heartbreaker, but it does sound like now that Mr. Toby Price is leading. Toby Price, he was third heading into today. Looks like Toby Price is now the new leader. So I'm going to see if we can get an update here on yes, I do. It just refreshed the feed, the Dakar feed, after Stage 8. Toby Price, current leader now. He has, looks like about a minute lead over Pablo Quintanilla, Matthias Walkner in third. So Toby Price, obviously he's Australian. We've adopted him as our own here in America. You know this. Toby Price, he is, he spends quite a bit of time here in the States. We're adopting him. Toby Price, he's American. At least for this show he is. Anyways, Toby's my boy. Stoked to have him in the lead. Obviously, former Dakar champ. So we'll see how that works out. But we do have another guy to root for too. Running the red, white, and blue. Andrew Short. He has moved up into the 6th position now. He is, about 40 minutes out. So Andrew Short, he has moved up. So we got a shootout here at Dakar. We're about halfway home, and man, it is getting interesting real quick at the Dakar Rally. So very excited about that. Looking at updated car and truck standings. So far, it looks like after Stage 8, looks like Nasser Al-Attiyah currently, that's stage classification, sorry. Overall, it looks like Al-Attiyah, followed by Nanny Roma, Stefan Petterhansel, 1, 2, and 3. Yes, car and trucks, obviously it's a little bit different story there than it is on the bike side of things. Obviously, we got side-by-side still going on. Rankings are coming for today. It would just be dated info if I was to update you on those. But Robbie Gordon and his team's still running as well. They've had some issues throughout the rally, but they're still pushing forward. Press on regardless is what they call it in rally terms. So yes, that is the biggest info coming out of Dakar, but heartbreaker there for Ricky Brabec and the team. Then we've got IndyCar news breaking as we're on the show. Like literally, can we break enough news in the middle of the show today? IndyCar announced a new title sponsor, and this one is pretty interesting. So NTT Data has been a sponsor on with Ganassi for quite some time. Most recently, obviously, Scott Dixon has been running their livery. But NTT, it looks like, has graduated into, they're still going to be, a Ganassi sponsor, but they've graduated into the title sponsor of the IndyCar series, or entitlement sponsor. I don't know. They use fancy terms when you get into, when you get into upper echelons of motorsport. Entitlement. I call it title sponsor. They call it entitlement sponsor. So I don't know. Maybe that's what I need to start pitching on this show. Entitlement sponsorships. I don't know. Just the word means more value, right? NTT, a lot of you are probably wondering the same thing as me. Like, I've seen it run around on Dixon's car. What is NTT? I had to Google search during the break. Yeah, no joke. Had no idea what NTT was. Well, it is Nippon Telegraph and Telephone. It's a communications company from Japan. That is right. A Japanese communications company is now the title sponsor of the IndyCar series. So what does that mean for us? Well, I don't know. What is funny is Verizon is an American communications company. They bowed out. Actually, phenomenal title sponsor of IndyCar the past few years. Like IndyCar, Verizon, like everybody says, a home run. Like that's one of those sponsorships in motorsports that worked. Like legit, it was amazing. It worked. It really, really did. I think it was good for all parties. They parted ways, gracefully. Like it was a good relationship. No hard feelings. No nothing. It worked. Unlike, say, Monster Energy and NASCAR, where Monster Energy can't get their feet out the door quick enough. So it's funny that another communications company comes on board. But what I'm wondering is, are we going to see IndyCar back in Japan? Japan, a massive market for IndyCar. Obviously, with Twin Ring Motegi, they haven't run there in the past. I think Danica Patrick got her very first ever IndyCar victory there at Motegi. But anyways, is IndyCar looking to go back to Japan? Obviously, that track is off the grid unless they repair it. So can we see a road or a street race in Japan maybe? I don't know. I'm looking at things going, all right, so we've got Honda, massive partner in IndyCar, obviously a Japanese company. Now your title sponsor of IndyCar, NTT, is, it is a Japanese company, right? Are we going to see, you've got a Japanese Indy 500 champion in Takuma Sato, right? Are we going to see IndyCar back in Japan? Like, I would think if I'm NTT and I'm the title sponsor of IndyCar, all right, I'll title sponsor you. Things are already set for 2019, 2020. You better bring us a race to Japan. So, and I think all the IndyCar drivers want to go back there. Like, it's a great market. Everybody loves racing in Japan, right? It's good for everyone. So I'm wondering if that is in the cards sometime soon. So that is literally just me guesstimating and stuff. But stoked for IndyCar. And we've talked about it before. They are just absolutely shredding it. Just shredding it with their growth, man. They're doing things right, and you gotta give props to our friends over there at IndyCar, and we'll be doing a lot of coverage of IndyCar, in the coming weeks. So, talking Supercross real quick. We don't have a lot of time. We got to go to break. I know that breaking news kind of blocked our Supercross segment we were going to talk about. But yes, we did have some racing in Phoenix. Glendale, bummer. I was going to be there, but I had to race this weekend, and I tell you what, I take steering wheel over watching events all day long. But anyways, Blake Baggett taking his first ever victory in 450. Jason Anderson, Ken Roxon 1, 2, 3. It was Tomac and Marvin Musquin in fourth and fifth. Leading your point standings, it is Roxon, Barsha, Tomac 1, 2, and 3. Do want to make note, Justin Barsha sounds like he will be one of our guests next week right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. So looking forward to having Justin Barsha on the show. Also, we got 250s. It was Adam Cianciarulo taking the victory. Colton Nichols, man, what a solid start to the season for him, finishing second. And we had Shane McElrath in third, our boy Shane. So it was Nichols, Cianciarulo, and McElrath 1, 2, and 3 in the Supercross point standings in the 250s. So, man, it is definitely a shootout there in Supercross. We'll talk more about that. We're going to go to break. We come back, though. Matt Martelli here on the line on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my brother Matt Martelli with a Mint 400 and the UTV World Championship and Mad Media. I don't know, man, many hats. Right now you're wearing the Mint 400 hat, though. Matt, welcome to the show, buddy.
Jim, I appreciate it. We're excited to be on as usual.
Yeah, so I know the big thing is you and I have been talking, and I know there's even a lot that people aren't even aware of right now, I think. But I wanted to get you on because I know we're still, we're about a month and a half from the Mint 400, the biggest off-road race of the year in the United States. And, you guys have switched it up this year. I think we're going to have to do this like 2 or 3 times between now and the Mint. But, I mean, bikes coming in this year. Obviously, I think on the racer standpoint, we've got a whole new registration process. We were able to, get registered online, which to me was like, wow, this is how the other half lives, right? But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of bring us in a loop. I guess first let's touch on the bikes because this is a big deal. I mean, this is so big that we've added a second day of racing at the Mint. I mean, this event has become so big, and now we're adding 2 days of racing and bringing the bikes back. I mean, to me as an off-road, I don't want to say OG off-road guy because then I'm going to date myself. But, dude, the bikes at the Mint, this is the one everybody wanted to see happen. You and your brother put it together, made it work.
Yeah, I mean, we had help from a lot of people, most of all, Best in the Desert. But, yeah, look, since we've been involved on the promotion side, we've always wanted to have the bikes involved. They're, the gateway drug to off-road. That's how we got into off-road as kids. So, we wanted to keep that connected. So that was always a goal. It took us a while. We had to jump through some hoops, but we made it happen. And we wanted to give them their own race course. That was the other thing that was really important to us is that, we didn't want to have them have to race on the car and truck course as it is, a pretty tough course. Would not be a fun course on a bike. So we did that, and we've got about 80% of the course is specifically for bike. It's a combination of single track and a lot of varied terrain. So I think all the bike guys are going to have a blast. So yeah, we're super excited about that. We actually have 19 classes of bikes. And what we did was added quite a few classes really to attract new people to desert racing. One of them was the relay class that allows you to switch up with people, not just every lap, but you can make driver changes, in pits. So, if you have guys who only want to go 30 or 60 miles, you can accommodate them. A lot of people look at desert racing and they're intimidated by the length, and we wanted to bring that barrier down. We also did a father and son, mother-daughter class where, it's something that we grew up watching, friends and family race in the desert as family. And we wanted to separate that out as its own class. So we did that one. Also, the big one for me is the vintage class. I mean, we brought the vintage vehicles back to desert racing, a few years ago, and it's been really successful and just a really cool part of the DNA of the Mint with the history and everything. And we want to do the same thing with bikes. There's a lot of vintage bikes out there that, you see come out at these specific events. And so we wanted to get those guys out and racing at the Mint.
Well, and, that was something I was thinking about. I'm like, 400 miles on a bike is, dude, that's, I mean, I want to think I'm in decent shape and stuff like that, but 400 miles on a bike, that's some legit distance. But you guys adding in all these different classes and things like that, like you said, I think it's definitely going to swell the entries. And then talking about vintage bikes, I mean, man, I got to tell you, some of those vintage bikes, I see those and I see what those guys, back in the day used to race, and I'm like, dude, those are brutal. I mean, there's not much suspension there at all. So, but I think it's so awesome to see those back at the Mint, as they originally were. Dude, I'm so excited for the bikes. I mean, and anybody I've talked to, I mean, this is one of those where I think it's got everybody buzzing. I think we're pretty excited. And, how awesome is it for some of these pro bike guys? I mean, to actually have the opportunity. They've never had the opportunity in their career, to say, hey, I'm a Mint 400 champion. And to me, this immediately ranks up there on a bike, saying, hey, I won the Baja 500 or I won the Baja 1000. I mean, everybody wants to have, the Mint 400 on their resume.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big race to win in any class. and it's funny because we knew that, we were onto the right thing and really wanted to reconnect, the bikes with off-road culture. I mean, they have some races here in the U.S., but they really don't get the respect that they earn or that they deserve. These guys are the gnarliest guys. Look, it's one thing to, do the Mint in a truck or in a four-wheel vehicle. It's going to be a whole other thing to do it in a bike. And again, the course is specific for bikes, but it is a technical course. There's not a lot of just pin it and go down graded roads. So I think the bike guys are going to find it really fun and challenging. But yeah, considering that the bikes haven't been run since 1976, this is definitely a historic event, and a really cool way for people to put their names down in the history book. So we're pumped. One of the coolest things that had happened is, I was out talking to people, what do you think? And the very first person that, basically pre-signed up was Larry Rossler. He basically was like, okay, cool, I'm going to race on a bike and in a truck. And then there's a pause and he goes, is there a class for that? And I said, you know what, Larry, we'll make a class, because if you do it on a bike and a truck, you're extra gnarly.
Yeah, dude, I think, and how rad would it be, and this is total pipe dream, but Larry's like the one guy that could do it. I would say win an outright victory on the bikes and then win one in a car and truck. Like, a lot of people can compete in both, but I don't think a lot of people could win in both. Larry's one of those guys that he could actually do it, man. He could do the double at the Mint.
Yeah, that would be an insane feat. I think, though, that Larry's definitely competitive, but man, there's some fast guys that are already registered that, I think are going to be hard to beat. Lots of the guys that are racing Dakar currently are coming. We've got a lot of the District 37 guys. Even some old Supercross and motocross guys have signed up. And so I think it's going to be a really good mixture. And that's what we're after is, when I started riding motorcycles as a kid, you rode everything. You rode, track. You did some hill climbs. You did lots of free riding, and it was all kind of one thing. And it got fragmented by industry, and we want to reconnect that. I think obviously it's Supercross season, and that's always awesome. But we want to bring all those fans and all the racers and potential racers all together for this one event. That's our goal, is to get everybody together, really showcase the bikes, and put them back into, the fold of the great American, off-road race.
Yeah, well, that being said, I know racing's 2 days. Obviously, we've got, most of the unlimited classes running on Sunday. We've got more of the limited classes running on Saturday. Contingency's back for 2 days. What you were telling me, I think over 400 entries already for the Mint. Man, Matt, this is huge. What can fans expect? Because I know tickets are on sale, correct?
Yeah, so we switched things up here a little bit differently this year. Just every time we have an event, every time we do the Mint, we look at everything and try and make it better. So this year we are selling tickets for the start finish. They're only $10 a person, but parking is free. Previously we charged for parking and didn't have any ticketing price. But this year we're swapping it around. We're trying to keep it affordable for families of 4 or 5, which it definitely is. It's still cheaper than parking at a basketball or football game. And then, the start finish will have more stuff to do at. We're bringing in lots more food vendors and lots more things to do while you're there. Our VIP area is back and bigger than ever. So that's the best way. I could tell you right now, you get to watch the start finish. You get screens of the live stream. You have unlimited food and drink, and we brought back Chef Drew Deckman. So those will sell out again this year. So don't wait on getting VIP tickets or parking passes for the other spectating areas or your tickets for start finish at Prim. It's going to be a full year. We're excited. 2 days of racing. we didn't change any of the pricing, so you get 2 days for the price of one, which is awesome because we want everybody to go out for the bikes and and the limited classes and cheer those guys on. They're the DNA of off-road racing. So, lots of evolutions. Same thing with Tech and Contingency. We've rebranded that the Off-Road Festival so that people outside of off-road can really understand what's going on rather than calling it Tech and Contingency, which, again, you're right, will be 2 days. So last year we were 2 days, and we averaged probably 25,000 people a day, and so it was awesome.
Well, and it's funny because I've been talking with some media outlets and things like that, and it's almost like Tech and Contingency has become its own trade show, and that's what I actually had this conversation with somebody. It's like literally, it's almost like an off-road trade show, at Tech and Contingency, and it's like it's become its own event. That I think there's a lot of people that go just for Contingency or the Off-Road Festival because it's so big and it's just like its own unique event. That's obviously a massive part of the Mint, but I think it's almost like it's its own standalone event now.
Yeah, I mean, that was always the goal. I mean, we've always, my brother and I have been of the belief that desert off-road racing in particular is severely undervalued, and our Tech and Contingency on Fremont Street East is, unlike anything else in off-road racing. I mean, obviously the Baja 1000, you have a great Tech and Contingency down in Ensenada, but ours is different, and it's truly American. It's nice that you can walk around with a beer or a drink in your hand. There's lots of food options down there, and it's free. I mean, you can bring your whole family and all your friends, check out all the latest off-road offerings from the different aftermarket companies. Now we're getting manufacturer involvement as well because they see the value of it. But it's 2 days of fun. It's hanging out with your friends, checking everything out. Lots of different activities going on. But yeah, that was always the goal. Is if you're remotely interested in off-road racing, this is what you come to, and this is how you have a good time at the Mint. So yeah, those 2 days of Tech and Contingency honestly are just a lot of fun for everybody, and you get to see a lot of really cool stuff.
Well, thanks a lot, Matt. We are up against the break, but we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Hey, this is Jim Beaver, host of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Getting down and dirty on the racetrack is all fun and games until it's time to get the dirt off. I know it all too well, which is why I partnered with MotoShield Pro, the leaders in nanotechnology solutions on the racetrack and in off-road to combat mud and dirt buildup on my vehicles. MotoShield Pro keeps us from taking unnecessary damage and spending extra energy on cleaning. No matter the weather or the surface, having proper protection on all my vehicles saves me plenty of reprep time in a sport where every second counts. Prep your vehicle like a pro. Learn more at motoshieldpro.com.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome Tiffany Stone into her regularly scheduled spot here on the show. Well, I know you have been busy. We talked last week, but now you are out at the Detroit Auto Show. I guess can't say out, right? It's like your hometown of Detroit. Like this is one of those events you don't have to go anywhere for, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. I'm about 25 minutes from downtown. This is like, many know it as the Detroit Auto Show, but it's also known as like the North American International Auto Show. So majority of the manufacturers there, it's one of the biggest shows of the year to start off, 2019. And the coolest thing is all the new things that are unveiled, all the new vehicles, the specs, the wheels, the tires, all these great things are happening this entire week that sets off, 2019 and 2020 cars.
Yeah, well, and I know we're going to talk about the off-road side of things in a minute. Yeah, this is a big one. I mean, I've got my friends from Car Throttle. They made the trip over from the UK to this one. I mean, you talk about international shows. I mean, Los Angeles Auto Show is a pretty big deal. I mean, there's a lot of shows that are big deals, but it seems like the one in Detroit, probably specifically because you got Ford, Chevy. I mean, it's Motor City, right? Like, to me, this is the special one. This is like, out of all the shows, it's probably the biggest one, wouldn't you think?
It is, not by footprint, because there's still Chicago and New York Auto Show, so that footprint's 2 levels. It's pretty big. But if you want to see some of the brand new vehicles that either will be available as production vehicles later on this year, or like I said, the brand new ones, Toyota, they just came back out and they brought the Supra back. The Supra is back, and I know fans are super excited to have that back out here. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of different, but this is the show to see all the new vehicles for this upcoming year and the next.
Yeah, and, that's the thing about Supra. I was a big fan of the late 90s Supra, like the OG Supra, I guess we want to call it. And, I mean, obviously, I was just a fan of kind of the looks, like what they were trying to accomplish in the 90s. It was something different. And then this came out. I gotta say, as a fan of the original, never a guy that actually owned it or got to spend any track time in it, like, this wasn't what I was expecting. And I think there's a lot of fans were like, I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying this is something completely different than I think everybody was expecting for Toyota and the Supra.
Well, exactly. I mean, they've come off the years of having the brand new Camry that they redesigned. So they're getting a little bit sportier. They're bringing in some new things. They have a new platform. It's called TNGA. And that platform that they're starting to build, the Avalon, the Camry, all these vehicles, it has a lower center of gravity. So you're lower, but you sit nice. The stance is nice. And the ride is unbelievable. So I haven't been able to ride in that new Supra yet. I'm assuming I'll get my chance very soon. But I'm assuming that stance on it and the way it handles and everything is top notch, especially if you're bringing such an iconic vehicle back. You got to make sure there's no mistakes on it.
Yeah. So, like, to me today, like, there was all kinds of announcements. There was 2 big ones. There was the new Supra. There was a lot of people. I mean, I think Fernando Alonso showed up for that. I mean, that's big when you get a guy like Alonso showing up for a launch of a car. This is like a massive deal on a global scale. But
100%.
Yeah. So you've got the Supra launch. I don't want Supra launch. I gotta get that right. But then on the flip side, you got, and this is like Japanese, like compact, like, you know what I mean? It's like, power to weight. And then on the flip side, you got Ford that's like, America, and they drop like a 700 horsepower supercharged Mustang beast that does like 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. It goes 200 miles an hour. And I'm like, and it's big, it's bold, it's like full on I am American muscle car. And I just thought it was funny because, like, you have like the sports car from Ford and you got the sports car from Toyota, and you want to talk about 2 completely opposite ends of the spectrum. And I think we saw it both today at the auto show.
Yeah, and like I was saying, like, it's so crazy to see how these vehicles are, being made, what's coming out. And if vehicles, like the Mustang are still coming out, and I know that people are really excited about seeing the Gladiators. A lot of people have seen the Gladiators, but they haven't been able to go up, take a picture by them, open up the doors, see all that. So it was really cool to see some of those things come out. But what was really new and different this year is a lot of different. It wasn't SEMA-esque because it's not like that at all. But there were a lot of vehicles there that have all been, tuned up. They have tuners. They're all dialed in different things and have different wheels and stuff. So that's kind of something new that they brought this year. So you can see not only the production vehicles, but then you can also see, hey, I saw this production vehicle. Now these are all the things that I can do with it. So it's kind of cool to see a little bit of both this year.
Yeah, and I think that, and I think it like kind of lends itself to, I don't know, I think there's something that goes hand in hand, and like you said, SEMA and and the auto show are completely different things, but I could see how, I don't know, they want to dress something up, have something a little bit different for the auto show, and, I could see that. Like, that's kind of interesting, though, because in the past, it was always like an OEM make manufacturer, like, here's our units, here's our cars, and it seems like that's, I don't want to say it's shifting because I don't think it's ever going to turn into SEMA 2.0, but it's kind of interesting to me that the aftermarkets are, in the kind of I guess the the show cars are kind of coming to the auto show a bit.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And, you know, there's a bunch of different things. So you're having the press reveals, you're having these drives, you're having these things happening throughout that are only here for press days. So if you're here today, you saw a bunch of new things that the public hasn't even seen yet. And I was just talking to you about it. I actually did something a little bit different today that I've never done. And it was kind of cool because it kind of solidified me into like a pro stunt driver. So I did I had the opportunity to drive a brand new 2020 Kia Telluride. Mm-hmm. So after the city in Colorado, it's an SUV, and we did this whole cool off-road track type thing. And I must say that the SUV market is just getting bigger and badder, and more companies are coming out with these vehicles that you can buy right from the dealership and go off-roading.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now.
And I think that's rad. I mean, and obviously Ford's got the new Bronco coming out. You just mentioned, you know, the Telluride. Like, I mean, everybody's bringing their A game to the off-road market. I mean, and that's just, you know, a couple right off the top of my head. But we've got a list. I mean, Subaru brought the Ascent. I know they've got more and even bigger SUVs coming. Like, it's crazy. And not only that, like the off-road capabilities, but we're also seeing SUVs on the sports side of things. I mean, Dodge has their Durango SRT. Ford just came out with the Explorer, like this new rear-wheel drive Explorer that's like, I don't know, I can't even remember, but they had it at the auto show there. It's like an ST Explorer that's like 500 horsepower. You know, so it's like we're getting the off-road side, but then we're also getting like performance SUVs. Like I feel like the SUV market, man, this thing, it's like I feel like it's there for a while with gas prices and stuff. It was like wasn't cool to drive an SUV, and we saw the small cars come back. Now I feel like SUVs are making their resurgence. I don't know. What do you think about that, Tiff?
I think it's great. I think it's really cool. Like you said, you know, back in the day when we were having very, very high gas prices, everybody's like, I want the most MPG. I want the best vehicle that I can drive on the highway. I mean, even manufacturers were getting rid of all-wheel drive and having V8s because their MPGs were going down. When you're driving an all-wheel drive vehicle with a large motor, you're getting probably maybe 16, 17 miles per gallon. So now it's cool, like you said, that all these other vehicles are coming about. I don't remember the name. I was kind of just walking by it, but there's even a competitor for Jeep now. It's like this weird market. There's these smaller ones. You know, I'm going to probably put it on my Instagram story later on so people can check it out. But it was really weird and really cool at the same time. So it's kind of cool to see what's happening for 2020. Because if you think about it, though, Jim, back in the day, we should be driving flying cars already, right? I mean, in the 80s, Marty McFly said we were going to have hoverboards and we were going to have all these other things, and I think he was lying.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that is like I actually had this conversation on one of my podcasts recently with a good friend of mine, John Wright. We're talking about the CES show that happened last week and all the electronics and all this AI and stuff like that. Like, I mean, some of the stuff we've got going now is like sci-fi. I mean, we do have cars that talk to us. I mean, we've got Siri on our phones. We're wearing watches, like iWatches, that are full on like Inspector Gadget type of stuff. But like you said, like I feel like the car space, like I get in a car and I don't think 30, 40 years ago people would have ever envisioned the technology that we have in cars now. But like you said, we still don't have the flying car. Like what gives, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're getting there. You know, Lexus is coming out with autonomous vehicles. I know Denso's been dabbling in the autonomous vehicles. I just really want to see what's going to happen with virtual reality and being in vehicles and seeing where that's going to come. Because, like you said, CES, there's so many different things happening. I bet you any money, though, Jim, we will probably see a drivable 3D printed vehicle maybe before we see a flying vehicle, because the 3D printers are everywhere right now.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty rad. I never even thought about that. 3D printers are going bananas though. Like the stuff coming out of 3D printers blows my mind. And like it at the start, it was like they were just kind of novelties, and I think people were doing stuff just to see what they could do. But now, like it's legit. Like some of the stuff coming out of them that I've been around, I'm like, really, that came out of a 3D printer? Like I would have never realized. But wow, 3D printed cars. Now you've got my brain working overtime, Tiff, and that's not supposed to happen on the show.
No, I mean, this is supposed to be fun and you know, low-key and casual, but imagine if you could go, say you just walk up to the dealership, you're like, doo, 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 and then you just spec out your vehicle, you make it the way that you want to, and then 2 hours later, it's printed up and you're able to go.
It's like Kinko's
How
for
crazy
cars.
would that be? Or exactly. Or just, like start building NHRA funny car shells and just putting them on top of that. We'll just deal with the chassis, we'll deal with the motors, and then we'll just 3D print the shells that we want on our vehicles.
The problem is like my cars are going to look like my kindergarten car drawings where they're like these Easter egg cars and stuff like that. Like if they let me in charge, like you don't know what the heck the 3D printer is going to come out with the way my car is going to look. It's going to be like, who knows?
That's what we should do one time. Next time we do a live show together, we should draw what our 3D vehicles would look like and have listeners vote on whose rendering is better and which rendering they would actually pick.
Oh, it's going down. We're doing that. I don't know if it'll be at KOH or the Mint or what, but this is on. Like we are doing the 3D printing contest. We'll get like anybody that all our guests that day are going to have to draw their own too. Like this is going to be entertaining.
That is, and then hopefully maybe one day when something comes out, somebody will drive our 3D printed egg picture, blah, blah, blah. It'll be so funny.
Right. Oh, that's too funny. So, obviously, the show's going on this week. They're in Detroit. Are you done? Are you full? Are you like pinned all week long with the show?
For press, because we just did the press reveal. Public days start this Saturday coming up. And then it goes until the 27th. So it's about a 9 to 10 day show. I'll be back there working a lot with the Toyota and the NASCAR and the racing and the Supra. So I'll be out there doing that. And then, of course, I hang out with the Tundras, the Tacomas, and 4Runners because, why not? Those are desert vehicles that we need to take out sometime and just hang out by that. And, yeah, it should be a good show, though. It's predicted, I think, 1 million people are supposed to come within these 2 weeks.
That's crazy. That is a lot of people there to Detroit for the auto show. And, man, you're there day one. Like, to me, that's exciting. You've got, like, a fresh take perspective on everything just because, it's like day one. You go on day, like, 8 or 9. Like, you get to see everything, but you've already seen the pictures on the Internet. Like, you're getting to see stuff firsthand that people are just barely getting around to seeing on the Internet right now, Tiff.
Well, and that's exactly what's happening. So yesterday when we were rehearsing and practicing and all this, all the vehicles are coming in, being set, and they're being set for the stage. They all have the camouflage over them. But I kind of got a little sneak peek at that Supra coming in, and I saw those taillights that are on there, and I was like, that looks beautiful. And if the taillights are going to look beautiful, the rest of the car has to have some type of, like, wow to it.
Oh, and you've got to stop by the Subaru booth for me because I know they just dropped a brand new special edition WRX STI, like uber limited, like full on race car. And this thing looks absolutely beautiful in the pictures. So you're going to get a chance to see it before I do. But you're going to have to stop by and if you get a chance and tell me what you think of it because that thing in the pictures looks like just jaw dropping.
Yeah, definitely. So Saturday when I get up there, I will do that. And then if anybody's listening to this while the show's still going on, hit me up, and let me know what vehicles you want to check out. And if I have some time, hopefully I can make my way out there, snap a picture, post it online, and you guys will be able to see it before.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time, Tiff. I know you are busy with the show, and we're up against the break, but we will definitely chat with you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Stay tuned.
And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online in syndication on networks across the U.S. and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right, we're back here to wrap things up on another edition of the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. If you made it this far, thank you for tuning in. Whether you're listening in national syndication online to the podcast or one of our amazing partners like Podcast One, Performance Motorsports Network, Radio.com. We've got an amazing group of partners here. I mean, both live nationally, our American Forces Network. I don't know, we're all over the place. I can't even keep track how many places we are, but thank you guys for tuning in. Obviously, we're starting on year number 8 here, and we just keep plugging along. Got a couple of new shows coming this year. We are going to be doing 3 shows a week. Project Action, my other show, and then the off-road edition of the Down and Dirty Radio Show coming very soon, as well as the new TV show version of the Down and Dirty Radio Show for YouTube. So yes, thank you guys for the continued support. If you haven't already, go over to iTunes, hit subscribe to this show as well as my other show, Project Action. Please leave a rating or review. They do mean a lot to us. They help us out. And if you leave a rating or review, leave your Twitter, Instagram @username in the review, and I will follow you back on social media. Thanks to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, Vision, Wheel, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, MotoShield Pro, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino for the continued support. If you're looking for a coupon code at Dirtfish, it is JB Dirtfish for 15% off. And also make sure and go over to ultra4license.com. Get in on that KOH VIP package. Those are very uber limited, so you definitely want to get in on those very, very soon. So, yes, we're going to keep rocking and rolling next week here on the show. Hopefully, we see you guys back then. Be safe. Have a great week. As always, game on. I've got one. That was a total fail on my part. That was the intro. Game on.